Does it? Does it look like my head?
Greetings and welcome. It is officially fall, it is officially October, and in honor of that, we are going to be painting this sunset piece right here today. It's essentially just to get us all in the mood. It's warm, but it's also kind of spooky, and it's all of these things that October should be. I hope that it gets you in the spirits and looking forward to the season as much as it is me. But as per usual, I'd get lost in my sentence. Right, I wanted to say a big thank you for all of you who really stepped up and commented on the last video, kind of elaborating what you wanted to see out of the channel. I know that for a while there, I wasn't sure where I wanted to take it, and now having that vision and knowing that that vision is in line with yours is really great. So thank you for all of the comments and the support on the last video. It's really weird that I'm still holding this. Anyways, as per usual, if you'd like help with the drawing process of this piece, you can find the digital sketch up over on Patreon. It has the grid lines and everything to just make it a lot easier so you can get into the painting process. Also worth noting, you can get the full hour-long version of this lesson up over on Patreon, along with over 40 others, a bunch of nice fall scenes and all of that. So go check that out if you're interested. Now let's jump into today's hour-long cut-up lesson thing. I'm going to begin by taking my larger square-headed brush, dipping the tip of it in some water, wiping off the excess so that it's just damp, and by making it damp we're going to condense the bristles so we don't have any stray hairs. We're going to extend the wet life of our paint, and we're going to allow it to go farther on the canvas. Now I'm going to take a good amount of our titanium white, and then I'm going to grab a hint of our primary yellow and mix those two together. I'm going to do a couple of layers here on the sky, and I want to ensure that while the sky is going to have some beautiful yellow and gold in it, I don't want it to be too stark or too saturated. I don't want it to take away from the foreground or the midground, so I'm using a lot more titanium white than primary yellow. And I'm doing that so we don't accidentally make it too saturated. So I'm starting with that, then I'm going to take some extra titanium white, mix that in with our initial mixture there, and apply this to the base of the sky and blend it upwards softly. I'm not using much pressure with my brush, as the more pressure you use, the more brush strokes you will create. But I'm just creating a slight gradient from a lighter base here at the bottom of the sky to a more saturated color up here at the top of the sky. I'm going to grab my older square-headed brush. This is one where the bristles leaf off in varying directions, so when I make a tapping motion with it, I render a bunch of different applications on the canvas very quickly with a single application. I make these by taking regular square-headed or flat-headed brushes, peeling back the bristles as you can see here, and making it a little bit more interesting and diverse. Now we're going to work on some of these fall trees in the background. I'm going to grab a lot of primary yellow. I'm going to grab about half that of primary red, and I'm going to mix up an orange. And I'm using more yellow than red because if I use an equal amount of both, the red would take over and we really wouldn't get an orange. Now that's a great orange, but I want it to be a little bit more thick. Primary colors like primary yellow and primary red are innately fairly thin. By adding some titanium white to it, we thicken it up. I'm also going to grab a little bit of burnt umber as it will darken it a little bit, and it's going to give us a bit more of an earthy tone to it. Then I'm going to grab a hint more of our primary red, mix that in there, make sure it's still a nice orangey color. Then I'm going to head up to the tops of my foliage. I'm going to tap this on the edges, as you can see. I'm going to allow it to blend via the taps into the still wet colors of the sky. I'm rotating my brush occasionally as I move around the edges, and this is just going to give me a different implication each time, making sure that it's always interesting and evolving. Now I'm going to head back over to my palette, and we're going to work downwards with this. And as we move farther and farther down, it's going to get darker because the light from back here is wrapping around the edges of the trees, and then as we get farther down, the light can't penetrate all of that foliage to such an extent, and it's not facing it, so it's going to be much darker. And that's really how we're going to create a lot of depth. So now we're going to mix an orange that's a bit darker. We're going to take a lot of primary yellow, about, again, half primary red. Going to grab a good amount of our burnt umber. This is going to darken it up quite nicely. We need to make it thicker, so I'm going to grab some titanium white. That, of course, will brighten it a little bit, but because of all of the burnt umber that we used, it is still a bit darker. So I'm going to take this on my brush, going to hold the side of my canvas, and now I'm going to tap on this new mixture right inside of the last application we made, and I'm going to slowly move it out towards the edge and downwards. There we go. So now we have our light tone, our mid-tone. Now we're going to make our dark tone to continue creating depth. So I'm going to start in the same way, take a good amount of our primary yellow. This time I'm grabbing a little bit more primary red to darken it. Primary red is a bit of a darker color. I'm going to take yet again a good amount of our burnt umber, as you can see here. I'm going to take some titanium white to thicken it up. And now I'm also going to grab a hint of Mars black, which I'm now going to tap around the bottom and yet again work up in the painting. There we go. Really beautiful. Now I'm going to take a medium-sized square-headed brush, dip the tip of it in some water to make sure it's damp, make sure that those bristles are condensed. I'm going to grab some primary yellow. I'm going to grab a little bit, and I do mean a little bit, of primary blue. These two will mix together to make a nice, vibrant, lush green. I'm going to make a green for the grass. However, I'm also going to grab a little bit of Mars black, because when you mix that with the primary yellow, you get more of a nice olivey, rich green. And by combining the two together, you get a really nice balance. Now I'm going to grab a hint of titanium white to thicken it up as well. I'm going to throw this into the background right here. Now we have another hill right here, so let's create some more of our green, starting with our primary yellow, hint of primary blue, and a little bit of Mars black yet again. Starting with a darker base layer, then we'll add on our midtones and our highlights. This one I want to be darker than our last one because it's closer to us and farther away from the light. And now I can apply this with confidence to the next hill. Just like this. Now I'm going to take my smaller square-headed brush, dip the tip of it in some water, make sure that it's nice and damp, grab some primary yellow, hint of primary blue, hint of Mars black, and here we'll mix up a nice highlighted pigment for this new green. I'm also going to grab some of our titanium white as well, just to make sure it's nice and thick like the last highlighted application. Now I'm going to apply it to the top of our grass, work it horizontally in both directions, but predominantly where I feel the light's going to be hitting. And then I'll start to blend it down using a series of horizontal strokes, occasionally leaving little open areas. That way it looks like there are large patches of grass that are moving in the wind, and some of them are more lit and more exposed while others aren't. So I'm going to take some extra titanium white, mix up a little bit of a brighter mixture. Now I'm going to head yet again to the top of the second patch of grass and add on another highlight. That way we have a little bit of a darker area in between the two, and the highlight looks so much more prominent. Here I'm blending it out to the other sides, still working a little bit in a Z-like pattern, leaving these darker areas open, and just continuing with that. Now I'm going to switch back to my medium-sized square-headed brush because it holds a little bit more paint. I'm going to dip the tip of it in some water. I'm going to go grab a good amount of burnt umber, a little bit of Mars Black and a little bit of titanium white. And here we want to mix up a fairly dark brown for the base of our pumpkin patch here. So I'm just continuously going back till I have something fairly dark, but still has some saturation, still fairly thick. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to apply this right around all of our pumpkins. Now, I don't want to work around the pumpkins with strokes like this, changing horizontal or vertical strokes, because that does show up. So I'm going to, for the most part, work in horizontal strokes. And when I get to smaller areas like this, I'm just rotating the brush so that I am using the corner to paint instead of the entirety of the brush. Lets me get a much more fine, sharp application. Now I'm going to clean my brush, and we're going to move on to the highlights of this ground, and the midtones, of course. I'm going to switch over to my smaller square-headed brush, dip the tip of it in some water, go to the pigment that we had before, mix up a little bit of extra burnt umber in there, and then a little bit of extra titanium white. Here you can see the difference. I'm going to go back up to the top, add some of this nice highlighted brown, start to work it along the edge because again that's where the light's going to be hitting, and then with these horizontal strokes I'm moving it into the foreground. I'm not making a perfect blend, and I'm allowing some of the darker areas to show through. Now, because we're applying the paint to the wet underlayer, it's all fairly subdued at this point. Nothing's really standing out that much. And so it's important that we let that area dry before we go back in and add some additional highlights. So I'm going to do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on our pumpkin sign here. So I'm going to start with a darker brown and then work my way to my midtones and my highlights. Create that depth in the same way we did the trees and everything else. So I'm starting by grabbing some Mars Black, a hint of titanium white, and some of our burnt umber. Now I'm going to apply this to the sign. I can still see my drawing. My brush is fairly damp, which will help me create very sharp, slender strokes. There we go. And when you're working on very delicate areas, don't apply much pressure with your brush, otherwise the bristles will expand and you get a much larger application, which is not what we want. Now I'm going to take my smaller square-headed brush, dip the tip of that in some water, and we're going to start creating some orange for our pumpkin. I'm going to start by creating the darkest layer first, so I'm going to take some of our primary red, I'm going to take a good amount of primary yellow, more primary yellow than primary red, because again, if you use about half and half, you do just come out with more of an orangey red than a true orange. Then I'm going to grab some burnt umber, a good amount, because that will darken our orange into a bit of a darker orange without turning it into a green like a black would. But of course this will only get us so dark, so I'm going to grab some titanium white to thicken it, and then some Mars Black as well to make it darker. As you can see, this really changed the color, but we can make it into that nice orange again by adding some primary red. And then once we have no fear of green, I'm going to take some more yellow, work that in there. And just like that, we have a very dark brownish orange, which is perfect for our pumpkins, the base layers at least. So I'm going to start applying this with my smaller square-headed brush. As you can see, I'm able to make a lot of these very sharp lines with it. And it's a very easy process. I'm starting with the edges of the large pumpkin mound, and then I'm working my way inwards. And you can see that it's very close to a brown, but it's definitely on the warmer side. It looks like a good combination of the ground and this, and that's great because it's meaning that everything's fairly cohesive. I'm going to grab some primary yellow, a little bit of primary red, mix up a nice orange, as you can see. Grab some titanium white to thicken it. Create a good mid-tone highlight. Then I'm going to go to the edge of some of my pumpkins and start working that in. These are going to get some highlight from here. So we're going to get a little bit of added gold into the orange. Just finding the edges and working that around. These pumpkins are kind of casting shadows among each other, so I'm not adding too much highlight to them. Just a little bit around the tops, and then as we get towards the bottom, it really dissipates quickly. There we go. Now, I'm going to go back to my palette, mix up a lot more of our orange, just like this. And we'll start throwing it on our big pumpkin here. Starting on the edge, because it's really the most important. Then I'll start working my way in. There we go. Building up a little bit of texture here, which is nice. It can be difficult to do with acrylics, but because you just need so much when you're working with orange, it can happen, and it can happen quickly. In this case, I'm keeping all of my texture on the edge because that'll be the brightest area, and that texture won't be transparent at all, so it will create the brightest area as it won't optically blend with the darker pigments underneath. Still breaking my pumpkin up into all of these different little sections. And blending about. Cleaning my brush off nice and well. Then we'll create some foliage, some leaves, some stems for all of these pumpkins in this patch. So I'm starting with a fairly general green. It's not too bright, it's not too dark. I'm just going to throw some vines in and throughout this patch. The vines back here shouldn't have much light, much attention, so we're not going to do a lot of highlight in that area. Remember to create a highlight, we can add a little bit of titanium white. We use less blue or Mars black. These ones are going to be getting a lot of light, so I'm adding this really crisp line of highlight on top. So I'm going to head over to my palette, grab some of this, take some titanium white, mix up a nice, really bright yellow, golden color like what we used for the sky. I'm going to apply that along the edges of some of the pumpkins that are going to be receiving a lot of light. Find the edges that are going to be receiving that most amount of light and drop it in. Now, because I use so much paint here on this one, it's still a little bit wet, so I'm blending the paint to a point. And we're getting this really beautiful mix of that gold and the orange that we applied as well. Hey there, it's Ryan O'Rourke. I truly hope you enjoyed today's little extra video. It was essentially a cut-up version of one of the many hour-long lessons which we offer over on patreon.com. Over there you'll also find digital sketches of the 10-minute painting lessons, digital sketches of these hour-long painting lessons, and a bunch of reference photos as well. So if any of that interests you, or if you just want to support the channel, go over there and check it out. It is a pleasure to make these long form videos, and I love to share them with all of you. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next Saturday with a new video, and above all, as always, stay creative.